everyone, and welcome back. In this video, we'll be talking about the main types of machine learning. In our later videos, we'll be going into depth about specific models and all the layers, but we think this is an important framework to lay out first.
There are many types of machine learning, but much of it falls into two categories: supervised and unsupervised learning. The biggest difference between the two is that with supervised learning, your data has labels, and a label is just something particular about the data that you want to predict.
For example, if you want to differentiate images of tulips and daisies, you can collect a bunch of images of both flowers. You could try just feeding all of these images into a model that tries to learn the differences between images and hope that this will help you tell the flowers apart. Or you can choose to add labels, which just means adding an identifier to indicate which flower it is. If you give this now labeled dataset to a model, you can tell it to explicitly learn to differentiate between tulips and daisies. The first case is called unsupervised learning, and the second labeled case is called supervised learning.
There are a couple different types of problems that you can solve using supervised learning. Telling apart labeled pictures of tulips and daisies is called a classification problem because we're putting our input images into categories, which are called classes in machine learning. We can use all sorts of different inputs, not just images. For example, let's say instead of images, we've collected data on the number of petals that a flower has and its weight. If we now want to predict the flower type from those two inputs, the output would still be a label indicating tulip or daisy. We can imagine these data points on a 2D plot, where each point has a weight, a number of petals, and a label. Our model is now going to try and learn the function that separates these two classes, which is also called a decision boundary. This is true of classification problems in general. We're trying to learn a function that separates our classes.
But let's say we want to train a model to answer a different question. If I tell the new system the number of petals a tulip has, I now want it to predict how much that tulip weighs. The input for this model is the number of petals, and the label is the weight of the tulip. In this case, we're not trying to put the input in one of a discrete number of categories, but rather predict a real number on a continuous spectrum. Instead of classification, this is called a regression problem. We can repurpose some of the data from the classification problem we talked about earlier. If we plot all of the correlated petal number to weight data for tulips, we can train our model to find a function that best fits the data. In classification problems, you're trying to learn a function that separates your data points into however many classes you have, while in regression problems, you're trying to learn a function that goes through your data points.
In a supervised learning setup, you have data that consists of inputs and labels. Now let's talk about unsupervised learning, where your data is not labeled. Why would you want to use unlabeled data? Well, there are several reasons. First, it takes a lot of resources to label data, and you might not have them. Second, the process of labeling data can actually be noisy and error-prone due to human errors or implicit biases that people who are labeling the data might have. Finally, labels make sense when you know exactly what you want to predict, but in many cases, you might actually want to discover new patterns in your data.
Here's an example situation where you'd want to discover new patterns. Let's say you have a flower shop where your flowers are currently organized by color. But now let's say you want to switch it up and come up with a new organization. In this case, you might want to discover groups of flowers that are similar in ways that you haven't thought of before. You could collect features of each flower, things like a photo of it, how many petals it has, how tall it is, its weight, and so on. Now, you can use a type of unsupervised learning called clustering to discover underlying groups in the flowers.
There are many different types of clustering algorithms. In some, you can specify the number of groups you want to discover. For example, if there are 3 main sections in your shop, you'd want to discover 3 groups. In others, you can let the algorithm figure out the number of groups that best fits the data. The output of a clustering algorithm would be assignments of each flower to a group. Because we didn't start with labels, these groups don't have a predefined meaning. Rather, they were discovered through the clustering. So now you'd want to go through the items in each group to see what the commonalities are. For example, you might notice that the groups correspond to flowers with different types of textures. This is a pattern that exists across flowers that you might not have thought of before. Or you just might not be able to figure out what's going on in the groups that your algorithm discovered.
This is the double-edged sword of unsupervised learning. Because you don't have predefined labels, you might end up discovering cool new knowledge or patterns in your data. At the same time, because you're not learning from labels, you don't really know what the algorithm is going to learn, and so you don't have a guarantee that the output will be useful or meaningful. To summarize this video, supervised learning means that you're using labeled data, and two common categories of supervised learning are classification and regression.
In unsupervised learning, you're using data without labels and trying to learn something. And a common type of unsupervised learning is clustering.
There are a few other types of learning, such as semi-supervised or reinforcement learning, but supervised and unsupervised are probably the types that you'll run into the most. Hey Harini, one last question. What major do flowers study in college?
I don't know, what?
STEM.
Thanks for watching this video, and we really hope that this will be a useful way to contextualize examples of machine learning that you come across in your everyday life and to frame the specific methods that we'll be talking about in future videos. And as always, if you like this video, leave us a like and subscribe, and let us know your feedback and what you want to see in future videos. Thanks.